Jameis has 70 career starts. So, Acho, is it a smart move to start the old man, Taysom Hill?
Not a smart move, not a wise move, not an intelligent move, but it is a necessary move. In the NFL, ladies and gentlemen, you don't necessarily play the best player, you play the paid player. That's the way it goes. I give the utmost respect to Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. For those that don't remember, 2012, the Seahawks paid a guy by the name of Matt Flynn a boatload of money. Yeah. Russell Wilson won the job fair and square. The rest is history. I was like, that is so atypical in the NFL because you don't always pay the best player. You play the paid player. That is what is going on in the New Orleans Saints facility. That's what's going on in the field. Taysom Hill has more tackles, I recently heard, than he has career completions. And this isn't like Taysom Hill has always been used to be a quarterback. He's always been this glorified Wildcat guy, going back to his days at BYU. In BYU, 1,000 career pass attempts, 500 career rush attempts, 2-to-1 pass-to-running ratio. Taysom Hill has never, ever in his life been this actual drop-back passing or passing at all quarterback. So is it a smart move? No, it's almost as dumb of a move as you can make. Play the guy who was once drafted at the position number 1 overall. Like not number 101, not number 201, not number 301. Number 1 overall, Sean Payton. You're a coach. Your job is to get the most out of your player. You have one of the most talented players at that position. Acho, that's dumb. That's asinine. How can you say that? Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards last year. 8 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL have thrown for 5,000 yards. Please digest that and sink that in.
Say that again.
Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards last year. Only 8 other quarterbacks have done that. Let me give y'all some names. Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Dan Marino, Drew Brees. Like, those are just the names of the company that have done that. The last thing I'm going to do, Marcel, is I'm going to end with a full screen because I'm talking a lot. I'm just going to give y'all a picture.
Give it to me.
Saints backup quarterbacks. Let's look at the career numbers. Taysom Hill has 18 career pass attempts, 205 yards.
All right.
Jameis Winston, 2,500 career pass attempts, 2,000 passing yards, 121 passing touchdowns to Jameis Winston, 0. Sean Payton, if your job is to get the most out of your player, you have a quarterback who is given the most in the NFL history. Yes, he's turned the ball over, but if you're a great coach, you should be able to believe you can get more out of Jameis Winston than anybody ever has. Not a smart move. I understand the necessity of the move, but not an intelligent move.
I think it is a smart move. For some of the same reasons. I think it's a smart move for job security if you're Sean Payton. Think about it. You have to appease your boss. Unless you're the boss, we all have bosses. And Sean Payton has a boss as well. And I think his boss came into this conversation. This is conjecture, but I've been in this situation before to make me realize that I know what I'm seeing here. Imagine there's a game where Drew Brees gets hurt, injures his ribs and his lungs in that game, and he sits on the sideline. And who do they put in that moment? Did they put in Taysom Hill or did they put in Jameis Winston against San Francisco? Jameis Winston, right? So the coach is going with the player's mindset. Put in the best player. And then he finishes that game. And then all of a sudden, during the work week, you hear reports of, nah, we're going to let Taysom Hill be the starter. You know what that sounds like? I call it the double tap. That's when the boss comes down and say, hey, Sean, how's it looking on the depth chart? And he's like, yeah, you know, we got Jameis here. This is why we brought Jameis here. He's a pure quarterback for moments like this. And she's like, yeah, how much is Jameis making right now? And he's like, oh, $1 million. But hey, he's at the Harvard of quarterback schools right now. Oh, how much is Taysom making? This is Gail Benson, though. $16.3 million. Oh, it'd be nice to see Taysom play.
Hey, say it again. Say it again. That's how it goes. It'd be nice.
It'd be nice to see Taysom play.
They're not going to tell you what to do.
Do you? And nice. So then Sean Payton has to obviously fall in line with that, and that's where I think these reports are coming from. But more than that, it's also a smart play because why do you want to play Jameis Winston? Think about it. You've already had a reference point. You already had a precedent in looking at Teddy Bridgewater in practice and then perfect in 5 games started last year. 5-0, right? So wait a minute. If you're Sean Payton, you're like, Gail is onto something. Let's let Jameis chill out on the sidelines, only use him in necessity because we don't want to drive his price tag up for him to be too expensive for us to keep next year or for some other team to poach him like they did with Teddy Bridgewater. So this is smart on multiple levels. As they say, a muscular move. Yeah, we want to win ball games, but in NFL, a little politics, a little business also enters the equation.
Sir, you've made such a good story. You told one, hypothetical. So let me give you all a real one. Story time.
Okay.
2014.
Okay.
I get cut by the Eagles after training camp. Final cuts, I get cut. They put me on the practice squad.
Reaper.
So I'm sitting on the practice squad. Now, you know, we always think we're better than other players, but I'm sitting here like, how in the world did I get cut and they keep this dude? Now, the dude that they kept happened to have played with the head coach in college, right? So it was a little something there.
Little love.
By week 2, our starting linebacker gets hurt. Michael Kendricks, he gets hurt, calf injury and whatnot. Our other linebacker, D'Amico Ryans, he gets hurt. So they activate me from the practice squad to the active roster. Now, when they activate you from practice squad to the active roster, you're usually not supposed to start. Like, start the guy that you kept over me, right?
Right.
But still, they activate me, and they start me the same week. They start me over the player they had kept on the active roster over me. I actually played my best game of the season.
My dog.
But by week 3, I wasn't starting no more. I was now rotating
Talk to me.
because the guy who they had kept over me, who was making a little bit more money than me, was now starting in my place. I was looking around like, but if y'all gonna start him now, why didn't y'all start him now? Oh, because of that. It would be nice, that tap on the shoulder that comes from above. What Marcellus is saying is actual and it's factual.
Hell yeah.
There comes a time when it's like, you know what? Even if Jameis may be better, we're a little bit more invested in someone. So it makes us look stupid, like it would have made the Eagles look stupid, to start me, the practice squad player, over the guy you kept on the active roster. Why would you start Jameis Winston over the guy you're paying $16 million to? The only place I disagree with you on is...
Oh, you got a disagreement.
I don't think that the Saints would mortgage wins and losses in order to potentially keep Jameis for another year. Unless you think they know Drew Brees is going to leave, so they'll sacrifice of some wins and losses this year for the sake of getting him next year. But I think you're making a riskier hypothetical situation.
I get that, and I thought through that in this situation and applied it. One, you already know how good Taysom is, and you know how good Jameis is in practice. You remember how good Teddy was in practice and learning your system. You believe in your system. You're Sean Payton, so you're like, I kind of could put any of these guys in there and think it could work. But you already have the reference point. Here's the threshold. Teddy Bridgewater was here in practice, and he was undefeated in the games. Hey, I look at Taysom, he's right there. I look at Jameis, he's right there. He's probably better. But can we win with both? Yes, we can. If we can win with both, guess what we're now going to do? Win with the one that has to go out there, give us a return on the investment, $16.3 million. And let's be real. The future with Taysom Hill as your starting quarterback, the oldest, was he 30, almost 31 years old?